Hello, everyone. I'm just trying this to see how it goes. Let me just, sorry if there's noise, trying to move you around here. Um, there are some kids outside screaming. I hope that is not a problem. I'm just going to check if I can hear. Can you hear me? Let me know. I'm trying to see where the chat is. Hmm. It says I'm live, but I can't see. I cannot see where the chat is. Hmm. Okay, let's just try this and see what happens. I don't want that. Okay, I think I should be able to see the chat, but I cannot see the chat, so that's fine. Okay, hello everyone. This is my first live. That's going to annoy me with my glasses. I hope you're doing well, whatever you are up to today. I really want to check if the sound quality is okay because I think it's quite low. If you are able to, let me know in the chat, where are you watching from? There's a loud motorbike going past. Can you hear it? Where are you watching from? Let me know. Okay. Okay, now I can see the chat. Now I can see it. And it's fine. Okay, good. Thank you very much. But I can't see it on my screen. Too bad. I'm just gonna have to go with it. Okay, so tell me where you're watching from, and also what have you done today? Tell me what you have been doing today. I would love to know. I can see the chat, but I don't know how to respond to you on here. There's got to be a way to do it. That is not what I want. Okay, forget that. Amazing. So, um, I've got someone watching from Victoria, from Melbourne. That's amazing. Yes, I just want to see the chat because I can't see it on my screen, but I can see it to the side. Maybe there's another way to do it. That's okay. No idea. Okay. Hello. Someone else has joined us. Good to see you. This is my first live ever. I've never done this before. I didn't know how to even like set it up on the screen. Um, so let me tell you about the weather here today. Um, I had to do this downstairs, not in my office. I would prefer to do it in my office, but my office is upstairs. And the problem with that is because it's quite a muggy day, it's a very muggy day, um, it's it's quite hot and humid. So muggy means when it feels humid, and so anyway, I have my door open for a little bit of a breeze. I could put my aircon on, but I had a really high electricity bill in my last bill that I got, and I just want to try and keep the aircon off as much as possible. So I can't look here to see the chat. I have to look here. Muggy, yeah. Muggy means if it's humid. So I was somewhere, I think it was a couple of days ago, and I heard someone say, it's really muggy today. Muggy. And you spelt it the way I would spell it, muggy. Dan, where are you from? So I am in New South Wales. So I am north of Sydney. So if you find Sydney on the map, I am north. Yes, I have got people watching in other parts of Australia. Um, it's interesting. When I look at my analytics, it tells me that most people are watching from inside Australia. And then the second biggest audience that's watching is from India, which is really interesting. Hello. Good to see you. I'm sorry that I'm looking down, but I have to like look at the chat down here. I don't know if you can hear those kids screaming. I don't know what game they're playing. I hope it's a game. Okay, so good question about the snakes. Is it safe or is it dangerous? How do I say your name? Leonidas? Is that right? Let me know. So I'll tell you about the snakes. I hate snakes. I absolutely hate them. I have had a snake close to my place where I live. It was like just out the front of my place, and that was like last summer. The snake that I had here outside my place was, I'm told, a non venomous snake. So there are some snakes that are not a problem, but the problem is that I can't tell them apart. So I just assume that any snake is a problem, just like with spiders. Some spiders I can tell which one's which. Anyway, getting back to the snakes, um, there are two schools that I've been working at, and they have a problem with snakes. And when I say they have a problem with snakes, I mean that one of the schools has signs everywhere that says beware of the snakes or beware snakes or something. And the other school just has a major problem with what were they? Red bellied black snakes. And those are really dangerous. And we saw the snakes. And there was more than one snake on more than one day. Um, yeah. And the problem is you really, if you want to get rid of them, really the only thing you can do is kill the snakes, but some people don't want to kill the snakes. So then they remove the snakes, but then the snakes can come back. And I don't know if they're territorial. I don't know if they know to come back to where they were. I'm not sure. I'm just going to check the chat and see. Okay, we're good. I'll have to work out how to see the chat on my screen. It mustn't be that hard. It must just be something I have to click, but I don't know what to click. And I don't want to mess about with it. Okay. So we've discussed the most important thing, which is snakes, which is what I get asked about the most by people that are outside of Australia. It doesn't matter where people are from. People always ask that question. Oh, amazing. So are you from, so you're from Greece? Are you living in Greece or are you living in Australia? And did I say your name right before? I said Leonidas. I might be saying that wrong. I'm sorry if I am. So I've told you about the weather. I've told you about snakes. If you have any questions for me, please put them in the comments. I had some ideas of what to tell you about today because some of you might be watching live and some of you might watch this later. So I don't know if you can hear the birds outside. Can you hear them? We have a lot of birds around here. I love seeing people in live streams chatting to each other in the comments. I think that's really good fun. So I'll tell you something. I have started a Skool community, and that's Skool, Skool, Skool. And if you would like to join, I just realized I forgot to put the link in the description, but I can add it later. It is in some of my other videos. I think my most recent video, I think I put the link there for you to join the Skool community if you would like to. Let me explain to you what the Skool community is and what we're doing in the Skool community. You can hear the birds. They're so noisy. I don't know what it is. I can see like a brush turkey. There were some galahs outside. There's something in the grass that they're enjoying eating, but those birds that I can hear, I'm not sure what they are. Okay, so let me tell you about the Skool community. The Skool community is something very, very new. So because it's so new, I wasn't sure what it was going to look like and how I might be able to help some people. So initially, I was thinking, well, if this YouTube channel is about helping people to learn Australian English, then I thought the Skool community would also be to help people to learn Aussie English. But the thing is, I think that there's more that will happen inside the Skool community. I think one of the things that would be really helpful for you, it depends what you're doing. If you are someone who has come to Australia and you're new to Australia, it might be helpful to have an Aussie, me, giving you some ideas and some tips, information, things like that to help you to settle in Australia. I've lived outside of Australia, so I have an idea of how difficult that can be. It can be really exciting as well, but it can also be really difficult. So this is the first live stream. I've been wanting to do a live stream for ages. I love watching other people's live streams. I really enjoy it. Um, and I think it can become a really interesting community because inside the chat, people can start chatting to each other. People get to know each other. If some people keep coming back, they also recognize the other people that keep coming back. So what I was thinking, I didn't let people know that I was going to go live. One of you knew. One of you knew that I was going to go live. And but I had to do it like that so that I would actually do it and not feel nervous or under pressure. But that's just me. So the first time I've done this, it was 5 o'clock, Sydney time, Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra time. So 5 p.m. Sydney time, and it's on a Sunday. And I was thinking that that might be a good time to do a live stream. And what I'm calling it is a Sunday session. A Sunday session, if you're in Australia, it could mean different things, but sometimes what it means is if you go down the pub and you have a quiet afternoon drink with friends, then that can be a Sunday session. A Sunday session. Now, I am not big into going to the pub or drinking, but when you hang out in a pub on an afternoon, a Sunday afternoon in Australia, it can be quite a chill vibe. Everyone's just sitting around, having a chat. It's quite nice. And sometimes there's like good music, sometimes live music. It depends on the pub. So, my idea is not to do with alcohol, but to just have a chill, relaxing chat on a Sunday. I can come with a topic, or you can ask me some questions. Let me check the chat to see if any of you have any questions or comments. Okay, that's a good question. I don't actually know. Is your name a feminine name or a masculine name? I don't know. And I said Leonidas before because I've heard the name Leon, but that's a different name. I don't know that name. So that's a really good question. Your question is, in Australia, are the people predominantly British? Good question. A lot of people have got British heritage. So a lot of people do have British ancestry. I do, for example, but I've also got other things, other cultures, other places that my family has come from. So there are a lot of things that do feel quite British to me. So, for example, when I went to London for the first time, the vibe I got is I thought, this feels like Melbourne. And I suppose what happens is when you travel, sometimes you think, oh, it's like that place I already know, even if it isn't. But your brain tries to think about something you already know and think it's like that place. So, and also when I was in the supermarket in London, I also felt as though there were lots of foods that we have here. And I think food's a really interesting one. So there are definitely lots of things here that feel quite British, I think. Our language, the way we speak, and also even our spelling is closer to British English than it is to American or even Canadian English. Does that answer your question? Yes, I surprised you with the live stream. I was going for stealth. I didn't want to tell anyone that I was going live because if I told people, I thought I would get too nervous and then not do it. So I thought if I just do it and I can just try it, because I also thought, what if I can't work it out? And as you can see, I can't work out the chat. I'm looking at the chat on my phone. I don't know what I'm doing with the chat, but that's fine. Okay, interesting question, Dan. Dan, where are you from? Your question is the word condition, when is it countable or uncountable? Can you give me an example of what you mean? Condition, when is it countable and uncountable? I'm looking something up here. I'm going to give you an answer. Oh, okay. I couldn't work out how to answer your question, Dan, but I think. Oh, hi, Dan. That's awesome from India. Amazing. Yeah. Dan, I will neither confirm nor deny if I've just looked up something on ChatGPT. So, if conditions with an S at the end are countable, they could be situations, rules, or requirements. Conditions. Also, your health or a physical state could be the condition you're in, and that could be countable. So there are different ways I could count how fit and healthy I am. There are different ways you could measure that. Okay. Let me know if this is helping. I'm thinking how to explain it to you. I'm also looking at something on my computer. I'm going to try and keep it simple, but explain your question. Oh, okay. Here's another example. This is a sentence, an example with the word condition in it. The company will hire you on one condition, and that is that you move to Sydney. Does that make sense? So you have to do the thing. It's countable. It's something that you would have to do in order to get the job. Is this helping? Let me know. You could also say a patient in a hospital has two medical conditions. So that's another way to say conditions with an S on the end. You could talk about conditions in a contract, a written contract. You could talk about the conditions on the road were poor. So I was driving to Sydney and the conditions were poor. The weather was bad. That's countable. Okay, let's see how it's not countable. I'm just reading this to see the best way to explain it to you. Okay, I could say I'm selling my house. The house is in good condition. I could go to the hairdresser, and the hairdresser might say my hair is in good condition. This is meant to be uncountable, these ones, these examples. Um, I could return clothes to a shop, and if I haven't worn them, I could say they are in perfect condition. Okay, yeah, Dan, I'm reading what you're saying. Um, it's sort of a funny one. Is it countable or uncountable? Mm, I mean, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. So some of the things are countable, some of the things are not. I hope those examples helped. Okay, let's see. So I was thinking these live sessions could go for half an hour, 30 minutes. I've now been live for nearly 27 minutes. But if you have some questions or comments, then it doesn't have to be strictly 30 minutes. That's a good question. Fazam, your question is okay, you would need to say one condition or two conditions with an S. And you're saying it's not countable. It seems like some things would be countable. Like I said, we're getting down into the nitty-gritty of language. Mhm. Any other questions for me? We are in October, and the weather here where I live actually has been quite hot, hotter than normal, actually. So it's spring, but the last few days have been about, I think, 35 degrees Celsius. So quite hot, and like I said before, quite muggy. So when it's muggy, it's quite humid. What else do you want to know? What do you want to know about Australia? If if you watch this after it's live, if you didn't catch this live, then let me know if you have any questions. You can always put questions in the comment section later on, and I can get back to you. Oh, that's a really good question. This is one of my favorite questions, actually. Okay, the question is, what part of Australia do you think is the best? And we can say the best for a good lifestyle, might be one way to say it. It depends on the person. It depends on your job. It depends on your living situations. It depends who you live with, all of those things. Let me give you a really simple answer, but then there's more to it. Okay. If you live anywhere between Sydney and Cairns along the coast, so if you look at the map and you look at where Sydney is, and then you go up to Cairns, so that's New South Wales into Queensland. And then if we go over to Western Australia, and if you I mean, there's some nice places south of Perth, but if you look at Perth up to Broome, thereabouts, those are really nice climates. The further north you go, the more humid it's going to be and the more tropical the weather will become. And at some point, you can't swim in the ocean once you get to a certain distance north. You can't swim in the ocean because of the crocs, the crocodiles, and also jellyfish. Having said that, you can get jellyfish all along the coast. It just depends on the tides and the time of year. I think those areas are the best when it comes to the temperature. And I think once you go further south than that, it's too cold, in my opinion. And once you go further north of those places, Cairns and Broome, then it's very tropical and very hot, like oppressive heat. So that's my initial thought. Having said that, there are so many places across Australia that would be amazing places to live. And it depends what you're interested in too. Let's say if you're interested in snowboarding, well, then if you live in Victoria near the ski fields, then you can go snowboarding. So it depends what your interests are. Yeah, so my personal thought is if I could live anywhere in Australia, it would be on the coast near the ocean, and it would be somewhere between Sydney and Cairns, or on the other side of the country, in Western Australia, between Perth and Broome. That's my idea. Having said that, if you got a job up in Darwin, that could be an amazing place to live as well. It is an amazing place to live. It's just very hot and humid. So your lifestyle has to match the temperature. I'm just thinking about other factors that come into it. Some people might be into or happy to go and work out in the mines as well. So that would be a challenging place to live. Also, living remote. If you live remote, it can be really challenging, but it can be amazing as well. It can give you really amazing opportunities. Yeah. Any other questions before I wrap up this live? Just to remind you, if you didn't hear me say it before, I have a Skool community. Of course, I forgot to put the link in the description, but I can add it after the live. The link is, I think, in my bio, and I think the link is in my most recent video as well before this live. The Skool community is going to be a place where you can ask me all sorts of questions, especially if you are living in Australia and you need help settling in, or if you just want to talk about Aussie stuff as well, that would be fine. And we're just going to see how that community develops. It depends what you need, what would be helpful, what I can help you with. Because there's certain things that I'll be good at helping you with, and there are other things that won't be my forte. So if something's your forte, it means it's something that you're really good at. There are certain things that are not my forte. Everyone that's joined, thank you so much. Also, please let me know 5 p.m. Sydney time on a Sunday for a Sunday session. Slow Aussie English, just having a chat, talking in the chat with each other, talking to me. Would that be a good time for you? 5 p.m. Sydney time on a Sunday. Let me know. I might even put up a poll actually to see if that would be a helpful time for you. All right, friends, I'm going to wrap this up. This is a 35-minute live stream. Thank you so much for everyone that has watched this live, but also people that are watching it later on. I think live streams are really good fun. I love watching other people's live streams. So, yeah, the poll's a good idea, hey? Because then I'll understand what everyone needs. I haven't got another time that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking Sunday at 5 p.m. makes sense to me. Also, because it's sort of a chill time for people, maybe. Yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions. Then I can talk about it in the next live, or I can put it in another video. Bye, everyone. I'll talk to you soon.